So, another thing Alexander discovered. Listen to this. Now we are looking at the geometry of the elastic band when we pull on it. So you have, we don't have any elastic band.
No. We've got a whole jar of them at home.
No, we haven't.
Okay. So,
We do have.
Imagination. Work with your imagination. You have an elastic sheet that is of that shape. Yes, the fibers are here.
Small ones. Small ones.
Yeah, small ones. Well, it works. You can do that with this elastic. So you start and then you pass it around. So I just don't answer for them. Okay? You just look at it, but you can't answer. You haven't got an elastic in your hand. If you were to pull on it, that elastic, what's going to be the shape of the elastic after when it's pulled? In the center. Yes. Do you know that? She said it will narrow in the center. Everybody does know that?
No.
It narrows everywhere, does it? Everywhere? Along the full length?
If you get to pull this structure, what will happen is this. That's the normal, that's the resting length. Resting length means that it's nearly slack. Okay? And now I'm going to pull on it, so it will extend, of course. So instead of having that length, the resting length, it will have a new length. Okay?
Oh, yes.
And you will notice that it will narrow in the middle. Oh, sorry.
Right.
When you pull an elastic band, it narrows in the middle. It's a mechanical law. Okay? You may not agree with it, but when you pull on the elastic, if you look at its size, it's getting less. You see, if it's a band, it's even better. Look, I have a band, I pull on it. Do you see how it gets less? It narrows.
Oh yes, but it can't get narrow at the edge simply because you're holding it.
Yes, because I'm holding it, but in the center, it's getting narrower and narrower. Do you notice that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, now is the gap, the jump. Another thing, imagine now that I know that of course it narrows in the middle, okay? What would happen if, before stretching it lengthwise, I was to, in fact, act on it in the center, here, so that to make it wide. I'm making the thing widen before I pull on it. The question is the resistance of the structure going to be less or more?
More.
Wow, you're fast. Are you sure?
How do you widen it?
For the moment I'm not explaining because people are going to faint. But how do we, if you widen it, if you find a means whereby widening it, yes, then it gets the pulls
Stronger.
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 Okay?
Yeah.
So that's why you have to lengthen and widen.
Ah.
Yeah. Most people don't. Why do you say lengthen and widen the back? Why? Well, it's because it's mechanical. It's a mechanical principle. If you have that structure and you feel that that structure is going to respond to both directions, it's even stronger. So that means that if you can find a way to widen it, it's just say, how do you widen this? I don't know for the moment. I'm just saying that if you were able to widen here, then what would happen is that the elastic resistance of the lengthening structure could be tripled. So if you have a weak pupil, weak in the sense that the person is very strong and never lengthening back, then you can't expect the person to be able to withstand and make an effect appear if you don't know how to have that person use movements in order to widen the structure before it lengthens. So that's why I'm going to give orders to the person so that I'm sure that the person is going without knowing it because she will not realize what I'm asking. She will not realize the effect of what I'm asking. she will think, oh dear, this French guy is really strange. But she will do, and she will get the effect we want. Yes? Widening the structure. So now, what are we considering? I didn't answer the question, Sarah's question, about this idea of flat aponeurosis. That is 1950s understanding. Nowadays, we have tools to investigate live creatures like humans. So now, when you look at the picture, and when you look at 1950s or 60s description, it's a flat sheet. Okay? But nowadays, you see on this side, yes, there are very, very long muscles on each side of the spine. Yes, the multifidus erector spinae, which are very often in people have got. It's gone. For example, if you feel the erector spinae of, I recommend everybody to go out and see Richard Kinsella, and you go into his bag with your hands, and everybody do that, yes, during
with permission.
Richard Kinsella, the man that is sitting here.
Okay.
He's not here at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, and you go and you find, so you have the spinous process, it's the extremity of the spine you feel when you know the spines.
The spines of the vertebrae.
But on each side, yes, on each side, you have like that large, like band, yes, multifidus erector spinae, very large. Okay.
The muscles either side of the spine. Yeah.
Long,
yes.
greasy
They are large
muscles.
enough because you know that the spine is it's made of vertebrae. So you have the body of the vertebrae. At the moment, the body of the vertebrae are the shape I'm making with my son, and that's the body of the vertebrae. And at the back, you have the spine. So there is a gap here, but not when you touch Rich's back. When you touch Rich's back, you will find that the spine is nearly at the same level of the back muscle.
Why?
But because it's very large.
Oh.
It fills the gap completely.
Because he's so?
No, because he's strong.
It's just the way he is. He's strong.
He's got a strong back, that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So if you feel, you will find that, wow. Well, that whole system here is attached to the blue thing, not to the bones, to the blue things, but it's inside. Because when you look at what they say, the sheet, if you look here, can you see this bone? Mm-hmm. There is the sheet is coming from the front here, yes, and it's attached, of course, to the top of the vertebrae. Can you see the process here? But it's also attached from underneath it to the so the vertebrae has got a spine at the back and a spine on the side, like this. That's the vertebrae. So you have one part of the sheet that comes above, and you have another part that comes in between. So it means that the erector spinae and multifidus are inside.
This is the outside.
That's the back.
Exterior.
That's the back.
This is the exterior.
That's the exterior.
And the
The
interior.
muscle is here, and so the fascia is an enclosing bag. So you have a tube. You understand?
Now explain it all again, please.
Sorry?
Now say it once again. I need to hear it a second time.
Yes. What happens is that all the muscles on the side of the back are enclosed into a tube of fascia, of elastic fascia. Yes? So Alexander says by reducing voluntarily a protruding abdomen, you're controlling many other muscles, notably those of the back. By pulling your belly back, you're controlling many other muscles. Is right. Because on this side you see the red, there is only one red band. It's not red because it's a muscle. It's my way to show people that the fascia that is attached to the front is in fact connecting to the thoracolumbar fascia. So if you pull on a t-shirt, well, yours, that's better. Don't pull on the t-shirt of the person that is next to you. It's not nice. Do it to your own t-shirt or your own. So what you do, you take both sides. With a coat it's easier, but with a t-shirt you can do the same. So you take t-shirt in your hand on both sides, yes? And then you're going to do something you would never dream of in the Alexander technique. You're going to narrow. Yeah. What is happening at your back?
It's
filling out.
widening.
Yeah, it's filling out. Right.
Wide.
It's filling up, it's widening, and what else?
Can you stretch?
It's stretch. Yeah? You're pulling on the elastic, widening it. You're widening the back by narrowing the front of the abdomen. Simple. Yeah? You're controlling the muscles in the back because they're encased in it. Yes? So there are things about muscle you need to know is that a muscle that is bulging is weak. A muscle that is lengthening is strong. What is the effect of the thing? Is it making the muscle bulge or not? No. It's preventing the muscle from bulging. So the efficacy, the strength of the muscle is increased by the simple fact that you're controlling the front of the abdomen.
So when all these guys come from the gym with their big bulging here and a bulging here, and you're saying they're weak muscles?
I'm not saying that they can't lift weight. Yes. What I'm saying is that this is pure muscle function. I'm not interested. I'm interested in how we could, all people, continue to live and do jumps and do squats and do anything that I want to do as an old person. I am not
It's just an
young
individual muscle
Yeah.
made bigger.
Yeah. You will gain force or brutal strength by doing
Just there.
bulging exercises, yeah, but it doesn't mean that people have stamina. I'm not interested in the brute force that you can spend in 1 second. I'm interested in how much force you can develop during a whole day, giving a workshop from 9 in the morning. I wake up at 5, I work until around 8 when you rang me, then I give my workshop until 6, at 6 I give a lesson, at 7 I give a lesson, then we have a meal, then I go and start talking again and making up and down jumps at 11 at night. That's stamina. We are not interested in instant force, how much force you can lift at one moment. I can't lift much.
So is it to do with the fascia, why the lengthening muscle is stronger? Is it to do with the fascial stretch?
No, it's not to do with the characteristics of the muscle itself, because the muscle, when it's short, is very rigid, has no elasticity.
Okay.
But when you lengthen the muscle, again, you find that the muscle is an elastic structure.
Mm-hmm.
So the force that the muscle can produce is 3 times more when its length is past the resting length of the muscle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bulged muscles are by definition over-shortened.
Yes.
Yes. And so is that why it's eccentric exercises, very slow, lengthening exercises?
No, it's
Also
because if you do fast lengthening exercises, it's so strong that it will break either the muscle fibers or the tendon attached to it, or even the bone. That's why we are very careful with eccentric. Eccentric means that there are 2 ways to work a muscle. A muscle can work and shorten, so most people know that. I will lift by shortening. Yes, that's concentric work, and it's not very powerful at all. But there is eccentric work. Eccentric work is that there is a machine that can pull on something, yes, and I will resist. So you see that when I do resist to the pull, I'm resisting with the muscle that is geometrically lengthening. That is called eccentric.
When you say machine, a person can do this too?
Yeah, you can do it with
This
a
was what they
weight.
did,
Of
the
course.
resistance
Bring
exercises.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Resistance to the silence.
Yes.
But
Yes.
now, why I'm mentioning machines, because if you do it on your own, it's unlikely that you will create either something too strong or something too fast. So you want
These assistants used to do it.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, but with the machine now you can use motors, and with
Yeah.
motors there is a big danger, because if you're resisting to something that is too fast or too strong, you're producing so much force that you can lacerate the muscle. There are many. If you go into the internet, there is something I must tell you, is that if you look at what I'm saying, that we want to work in lengthening, they say, oh dear, be careful, injuries. Because they are talking about people using machines, and machines can generate speed and force of the force of the lengthening that is so intense. Your muscle is going to produce so much force that it will rip itself off or rip the tendon.
And that's because the machine is sudden. So if I'm picking up
a
furniture, the furniture is not going to suddenly weigh 20 pounds more than.
No, but there was this experiment that was very funny. They had people enter a room, and there were different weights placed on shelves. So the idea is the first one is very low, so in order to lift it, you have to use shortening muscles. Okay? Second one, you have to use muscles that are at the same length. Then the more up you go, the more you will resist the weight with lengthening muscles. So you start with shortening contraction, isometric contraction, and lengthening contraction. So the person will just ask one question. Where were the heavy weights? They had to judge, evaluate where the heavy weights were. And it was absolutely evident that the heavy weights were the lowest. They had constructed this thing so that the further you went, the less they were weighing.
Yes, but the
the
weight
weight itself
was
is
the
the
same.
same.
Their perception of the weight is greater. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was exactly the same weight all along.
Yeah.
Yes. So the second question was how much is the for example, if that weight is of course very heavy 10 and that weight 1, is that roughly it, or is it 1 and 5? You know the rate of progression.
Yes.
Okay. 3 times heavier. 3 times heavier.
It's easier to lift something heavy off a shelf above your head. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, because you had to take it and bring it to the floor. That's it.
And it was the same weight as the one down here.
Yes. 3 times heavier. That's the perception of people and not
So which is the perception and which is reality? I'm lost.
in reality, the weight is the same.
And people thought that when they were lifting something from on high, it was lighter.
And so that was one experiment, but there are other
I wouldn't even dare lift a heavy weight from above my head. Anyway, sorry.
Well, you would lift 3 times the weight you can with if it was on the floor. So what was the point in this? The point in this is that they found that the more you lengthen the muscle, 3 times more force with the same muscle influx. So you send the same electricity to the muscle and you get 3 times more force. So it's normal that the person should find that one was 3 times heavier than that one. The perception of the people was in conformity with, in fact, the reality of the functioning of the muscle. When the muscle is very short, it produces very little force. When the muscle is very long, so that adds on the idea that we need to lengthen and widen. If you can stretch, so some people say to me, yes, you're saying that, but you're saying that at the expense of having the belly back. Yes, I said that. I said that in order for the stretch at the back, I'm ready to have people have their belly back. That's all. and easily. Well, people that like, I know for men, for example, it's well known for in France. This is absolute rule that if you want to seduce women, it's very important for male to seduce women. It's part of our genetic. Yes, you need to have a belly.
Oh, come on.
No.
When I want to seduce, I do it.
Talking about John.
No, it's not a joke, because it's a sign of a.
Not
It means,
from-
it
not
means
from
you make
the
enough
side-
money to
side-
eat a lot.
Sagittal
It's
view.
Yes,
Thank you.
you make
It means you
enough
make
money.
enough money to eat a lot.
Yeah,
We'd rather have sex
you
class.
enjoy seeing life.
Yeah, it's all right.
So, okay, I'm ready to stop all that business of seduction.
So we have an organic inbuilt cause, a potential for an inbuilt cause.
Yes, but there is a trick. Let me tell you the trick. Is that there are muscles that are attached, okay, on each side, which represent, if you look at it my way, an X. You have an X from the iliac to the opposite rebate. Okay? Fine. So now, if you are clever, clever is not the right word. If you've been into the business of lengthening the back at the expense of the belly, you will find that lengthening the back has a lifting effect, so that the upper torso is going to go away from the lower torso, instead of a collapse of the upper torso toward the lower torso. Because if there is a collapse, it means that the collapse comes from here, you remember?
Yeah.
So, what will happen is that your X is going to change shape. You have a person with a very wide X. Why? Well, it's because the extremity, which are the ribs, are close to the iliac. And people are good at making them close. You see? So imagine you're making them away from each other. So then you get a narrowing effect, because the X, where of course the fascia at the front is attached, is going to change. Yeah? So you do, I ask my people to pull the belly back, but I certainly explain to them that it's no use pulling the belly back if the distance between the ribs and the iliac are not working, and they are not working if the back is not acting elastically. So it's like a pull effect, one kiss the, I don't know what you call that, but I explain to my pupil that they have to direct the movement of the parts voluntarily, yes? And I go along with Alexander that says that pulling the belly back is a good thing. And if you read Stanley Lee, it's very interesting because there are chapters about lifting the torso away from the pelvis and having the belly back. He got that from Alexander. I asked the teachers about it. They never heard about that. And they didn't want to read Lee because Lee was a liar. Well, I had no problem. I wanted to learn something, so I read Lee. And I read that Janet Lee, Janet. Janet is very interesting because Janet is full of geometric lines and planes.
That's another book of these.
No, it's his wife.
And you can only get it from Shondo by emailing him. It's absolutely unobtainable.
Yes, you asked me. And I would swear I never gave it to you.
What?
I will swear I never gave it to him
Because it's copyright.
after giving it to him.
Oh, I see.
There is a little
It's out of
problem.
copyright.
Yes,
It's out of copyright.
it's a bit of a copyright. I don't
It's
know.
out of copyright, isn't it?
It is.
You could put this on the Internet Archive for all of us, no? Or maybe I could. I've got your photocopy.
Yeah, I will give you the thing, and if you do what you
Very
want.
unreadable.
No, it's not. If you know what you're looking for, it's very, very interesting.
What
It's
is
not like
really
Gerald.
is-
Gerald is really readable. Yeah.
Is where did the Lees get it from? Because I know they got it from Alexander, but he must have been giving them enough articulation of what he was doing at that point still for them to understand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He kept information.
Yeah. But he kept information under the books, but it was still there. Yeah.
Because he published Constructive Conscious Control in 24,
Yeah.
while Lee published in 22 and 20.
Yeah.
So he had 2 years to make up his mind and decide he was not going to divulge anything. He would keep the technique for himself. My opinion. I don't know.
You see, Goldie was working with me all the time with the torso. She worked far more with the torso than the head. She started in 1937.
No, but we are not talking about somebody working with, we are talking of somebody giving instruction for a person to work on ourselves.
But where did she learn it from? That's what I'm saying. Because
Yes, but
Alexander.
what do you remember the orders she gave you about the abdomen?
Oh, she didn't verbalize it.
Yes,
She just did it.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. There is one thing is to do
Yeah.
something to someone else to produce the effect we want, so that the
Yeah.
person has no idea how this is produced, what are the
Yeah.
movements that are
Yeah.
involved,
Yeah.
and it's a completely different business to tell somebody and to tell now you're going to listen to my words and you're going to see if you can create a movement here and here, doing this to pull your t-shirt backwards.
Yes.
It's a very different thing. It's there's no comparison. One is a teacher, the other one is a therapist, somebody doing something to you.
Yeah.
And you will never connect the mechanical principle that is associated with it. It's impossible. I've seen so many teachers, they have no idea of the mechanics. Absolutely not. So that's what I wanted to say. Okay, so now it's the time for what? Oh yes,
Lunch.